Hi everybody, it's Lisa and Amanda again, and we are going to start with the sleep patch and the immune patch ingredients, and Amanda's going to explain them all very well. But first of all, because somebody else might not have seen the other videos, let's
Right.
go over your degrees very briefly and what we're doing.
So real quick, I have an associate's degree in science with the clinical labs section, and that's just basically allowing me to have knowledge over the 7 aspects of the laboratory, from chemistries, hematologies, microbiologies, so forth. Then my bachelor's of biomedicine degree has opened up more in detail and concentrating the areas all the way in 14 aspects of the world, from microbiologies, ecologies, anatomies, physiologies, chemistries, etc. So with that said, I believe that I will be able to explain these ingredients and hopefully give you a better understanding of why they're working in your body the way they do.
Okay, great, because that's what I wanted her to do. And she said she looked for volunteer opportunities, and I took advantage because I didn't want to have to do it. And she loves this stuff.
It works for me.
So when we post this, Amanda is looking for a job.
Absolutely.
So she's been trying to put her degree to use. So this is going to help her, but it's also helping me. But just so you all know, I have first dibs on the innovative business. She's my person, just so you all know. Okay, and what is innovative, you might say? Well, I'm actually wearing it, nanotechnology patches, which she's about to explain. And we're going to start with the sleep.
Yes.
Okay, so the sleep ingredients is what she is there to explain. And this is what it looks like from the front. Okay, so just to be clear, we're not doctors. We do not give out medical advice. We make no promises or anything like that. So we just want you to know that this is through her degree. This is what she has learned, and she is able to explain it. And contact information. Just contact me if you want to talk to her, because she says that's the best way to get to
It
her.
really is. But another thing is, I also want to mention that any kind of form of chemical or natural products that you choose to use from over the counter, online, you should always go ahead and disclose that with your physician. Your primary doctors need to know in full disclosure of what you're doing with your body, so they can properly be well informed for the
make
diagnosis
decisions and give
treatments.
advice. Yes,
absolutely.
Obviously, we want to do that.
So we're going to start with the sleep patch, and in the sleep patch there's the vitamin B6. We've talked about this with it in the Innovative Complete. The B6 is really cool because, one, it's already provided to you in the peroxyl 5-phosphate, which is exactly what your DNA needs in order for it to be synthesized, to be able to be utilized. And it's pretty interesting because at this point it doesn't have to do a whole lot of work to utilize this particular phosphate group.
Hey.
And another thing is it is a coenzyme for over 100 different enzyme reactions, and in forming your amino acids. Your amino acids are part of your building blocks for protein synthesis. Your protein synthesis is obviously your chemical body makeup. So it's very important.
She can talk and the mouthful speaks, but I do stop her every now and then to get the little stuff.
So those who have vitamin B deficiency, they're going to be linked to symptoms such as insomnia, depression. Vitamin B also aids in the production of specific hormones such as serotonin and melatonin, which are essential for sleep health, for the calming and relaxation of your body. And they are very important for a sound, restful night's sleep. Not only is the serotonin and melatonin, they do work synergistically together in order to produce that full and deep sleep that we do require in order for a full reset, for a full wake up and refreshed and knowing that your body is ready to go.
And do that repair in the night that is supposed to reach it. Now,
absolutely.
Does the sleep patch have melatonin in it?
It does not have melatonin in it, nor does it have serotonin. What it has been infused with is these other phosphate groups and GABAs, which actually enhance your activity for production and synthesis of the melatonin and serotonin hormones, which means your body is having to do this on its own. We're not causing your lazy machine to remain lazy and being given.
Explain the lazy machine thing.
Okay, so your body is nothing but a machine, and it's such a well-built machine designed by one true creator, we all know. However, let's discuss the fact of the matter that because our body is being given, say, we take the melatonin supplements, our brain says we don't have to make it anymore. So when you quit taking your melatonin supplements, your brain still says, I'm not going to make it anymore. So now you're going to have very unrestful night sleeps.
Right.
You're going to be disturbed. You're going to have frequent wake ups, and you're going to have dreams that may not even be within your realm of understanding, because you're not shutting down. Like that is where your body needs to be shut down in that way to sleep, to be refreshed, to have the cell damage repaired, to allow for any sort of wound healing or immunity healing. It's just really important for that sleep.
Okay, well now we know why the melatonin and serotonin is not in the sleep patch and why we probably shouldn't take it over the counter.
Right, absolutely, because we don't want to sit here and allow our bodies to think that we're going to give this to you, and then when you decide, maybe this is not the ideal choice for me, your body's just going to have a very hard time coming up with this synthesis on its own.
Right, okay, so you need to, will the sleep patch in fact induce your body to produce those hormones?
It absolutely does.
Okay.
And that's really awesome. Like I said, with this phosphate group that's attached here, this the vitamin B, the peroxyaldyl 5-phosphate, it is ideal for the conversion and the synthesis of melatonin and serotonin.
Awesome.
And that is one of the very first ingredients on your list.
Yeah.
So with that said, you know it's in there, you know it's doing its job, and you know it's easily used.
Vitamin B6. Okay, so the next one,
we're going to talk
magnesium?
About magnesium. Yes, absolutely. Ooh. So magnesium plays important vital roles for many of your aspects of your body. And I think that it's somewhat overlooked more often than not. So while it's found naturally in a variety of foods, many people do take supplements to increase their intake, and determining on which kind of magnesium supplement that we use, it can be difficult, and it may not be as bioavailable for your body to use. So the magnesium compound used in here with the malate, it's actually a salt that it's being attached to, chelated to. We've talked about chelating and how we bond different molecules together to make them more bioavailable. And that's what they've done here with the magnesium and the malates. The malate acid is also found in many different fruits, and that's part of your tart taste that you're going to get from cherries and whatnot.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who knew that the tart taste was magnesium?
It's the malic acid.
Malic acid.
Right,
I'm sorry.
Absolutely. But a lot of times in nature, you're going to find the magnesium attached to that malate. It just really likes that compound. So it's stable, it's comfortable, and it's going to be well used.
Okay.
Magnesium malate is also believed to be better absorbed than any other form of magnesium on the market right now.
Okay.
As far as all the research that I've looked into, New York Times, there was other different clinical websites that I've looked into, and also WebMD has talked about how this form is the absorbable form.
As opposed to...
So it also can be seen in different magnesium supplements. I didn't actually include those names as I didn't want to throw other companies under a bus. I'm just going to describe what was actually in this particular ingredient list. Now, if anybody would further like me to explain the difference of the magnesiums, I'll be glad to. You can feel free to personal message me, and I'll be glad to get in more detail about the differences and how the compounds are in a molecular level are working or not working.
Okay, well, sounds good to me.
So here's one study. They had studied several different forms of the magnesium, and this is why I didn't go into listing them, because there are so many different forms. And again, this malate had come up to be the number one way for absorption for our bodies and the bioavailability, which means magnesium was absorbed and available for use when given by the malate compared to the other forms. And that's what basically goes there. So with that said, we are going to go back and we're going to talk some more about zinc and the monomethionine, which is, again, it's another chelated form of the zinc, including and incorporating an amino acid, which is essential for building blocks of your DNA.
So chelated means it's attached to
something. And it's being bonded and molecularly formed to it. And again, this is going to help with the usage of zinc and how it becomes available. So zinc is organically bound to sulfur in nature. And essentially the sulfur has methonium attached to it. And all of this is properties that are essential for our bodies.
Okay.
So, and all of this is going to be produced as a soluble, readily absorbable, retainable source of zinc.
Right.
In order to be attached to the sulfur and the methonium and to utilize the zinc. It all has to go together. And of course, in this patch, they were able to combine this and make it work. I think that's so fascinating. Cool thing about zinc is it is an antioxidant. So there again, we're going to go scavenging and destroying our radicals, our free radicals in the body, and helping avoid toxicity to our thyroid and to our liver by reducing the number of free radicals in the body and preventing a lot of our cell damage.
Well, I would like to prevent a lot of cell damage.
I know,
too.
right?
Yeah.
So, again, we talked about the protein and the amino acid, the methonium portion, and it is essential. And because it's essential, it must be supplied through the diet. That we cannot make this. This is not a mineral or an amino acid of any kind that we can preferably make, but we need it. So we have to have a dietary supplement.
Okay.
And it also is a precursor for a lot of the protein synthesis of different functions. So it's pretty interesting how this one zinc can interact with several hundred different reactions within the body that make it important for survival.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a very good thing to have. And I know also zinc has sometimes been used as a sun protectant.
It has. That's the zinc oxide. That's where we talk about some of the other forms. And zinc oxide is not absorbable, but it does provide protection against UV ray.
Okay. Well, you see my knowledge. This is why I got her.
So we want to talk about the GABA. I mentioned just briefly a moment ago.
GABA?
Yes.
Is that like the thing with the mouth?
No. So this is actually a gamma-aminobutyric acid, and it is naturally occurring amino acid that works as a neurotransmitter in your brain. This neurotransmitter functions as a messenger. It's going to give the impulses to say, it's considered inhibitory. So it's going to prevent or block certain brain signals. In return, this is going to decrease activity in the brain. Well, if we're putting this in a sleep patch, that's certainly what I would like as a result.
Yeah, I would think so, because you would need to calm down, the calm down signal. I
Absolutely.
like that. Okay.
Yes, my calm down signal.
It's I don't know about you, but I sometimes have the racing thoughts, which is why I
replay
started
my entire day for hours, just replaying.
Yeah.
Oh, did I make that right? Did I do this right? Where is that going? How is this working? What bill's getting paid tomorrow? It just doesn't stop.
Right.
And sometimes you just need to shut down.
And that is what this will help you do.
Absolutely. It's also it has been studied, and not in a whole lot of great detail. And I do feel like a lot more research needs to go into some of these products that we're talking about. But they've been implicated in anxiety. They've been seen in reducing some of the anxiety effects, insomnia, depression, epilepsy, and many more other things.
Okay,
These conditions are they're hard to live with, and here this may actually reduce some of those problems.
Yeah, I was going to say the epilepsy. Now, in recent years, haven't some of these things been on the rise?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I honestly can't explain that. I can only say maybe it's environmental, maybe it's genetic. I'm not real sure.
Or maybe we're just testing a little better.
Or maybe we are testing better, and that was my theory about the whole autism spectrum and how the numbers have increased as far as the children with Asperger's and whatnot, and all the way up to the severe autistics. It seems that our numbers have increased, but do we just have a better knowledge? It's hard to say at some points, and that's where I think it can get a little controversial in deciding what's your true numbers. How do your true numbers match the true numbers of 1903?
Yeah, because maybe we just didn't call it that back then.
Right. Your kid was unruly. Unruly.
Unruly, yes.
Unruly.
Unruly, okay.
Child's unruly.
Well, I think we're all familiar with that syndrome.
Right, absolutely.
Unruly child. Oops.
So, in this particular sleep patch, there are only the 3 ingredients as listed here as far as your minerals.
Right.
Now, when we look at the proprietor sleep blend, That's where the GABA comes in,
Right.
and some other things that I found very interesting, like hops extract. Hops
Isn't
is
that
actually
what's in beer?
it is. So
Okay.
it's actually part of the female plant, and it is found in a lot of our alcoholic beverages, and it does have a lot of medical significance.
Now, are you advocating beer drinking?
I am not.
I didn't think so.
Absolutely
I'm not
not.
either.
Just because this hops is good for you does not mean the hops coming from Budweiser is the same good for you.
Okay.
Okay.
So there is a difference.
Yes, and actually, hops actually is in best form once it's been fermented, which of course that's how your beer is becoming an alcohol product, is through fermentation. However, again, I'm not suggesting that that's the way to go. This is natural form, and there's no side effects. Unlike beer is going to give you the side effects.
Yes, and we won't go into those side effects because they can be wide and varying.
They vary, very wide and varying. So some of the common uses for treatment from hops is reduced pain from fibromyalgia.
Fibromyalgia.
Thank you.
There we go. Yes, tongue twister.
The arthritis pain, insomnia, diabetes, menstrual symptoms. Additionally, it's been found that this herb has been recommended for restless leg syndrome and other restlessness conditions. And then also it can be connected with reduce of headaches, nervous tension, and indigestion.
Okay. Now, I think you met Sarah online. She was the one who had said you would be very good at this business. She has been migraine free since May 5th, but she's been using
so awesome.
patches. And she used to have debilitating ones like every day.
I can only imagine. That's something that thankfully I don't relate with, but I can see how any one of these products could produce that effect.
Of stopping the migraines.
Absolutely.
Just
because of this, the ingredients, and some of them are just really simple ingredients that we really wouldn't have thought of. Hops, migraines, who would have thought? I didn't.
Yeah. What was it you said, Mike?
Me too.
Yeah, Michael, who's being the mysterious Mike, has suffered from migraines, and that's mainly why we found the CBD.
Okay.
And
that was something that I will mention when I get into that particular patch later, that there are some really interesting health benefits coming from the CBD.
Yes, but she's not ready to do that today because
No.
she has to be thorough. Yes,
do.
that's the unmysterious Mike.
He's shown
You
his
see
presence.
him running. Okay.
So as we just talked about, the hops ingredient is essential for brewing beer, and it's well over 1,000 years in the making, as far as being used in different products. Medicinally, it was been used since medieval times. Really interesting.
Medieval time. Wow.
Yeah.
So this is an old remedy.
It is, and that's what's really cool about some of these, the complexes that they've added into here with the proprietaries, is some of them are very ancient and used all the way back into the biblical times.
Which you did find.
I did find, and I
references, didn't
absolutely, there's scripture to back it up, and it was really cool. So we'll get into that when we start talking
She's
about
the
opium
researcher.
patch.
Like she does medical, she does biblical. she's your research person. I'll do it. I can't say I didn't do it. I'll do it if I need to. Like when I wrote articles, yes, I did do research.
And I just do it because I think it's fun.
Yeah, I know. Research is fun.
It is. Somebody's got chief blocked, but that's okay. So the other one that I found, I think it's kind of fun to say, Glycine jujube seed extract.
That's a mouthful.
It is. It's kind of fun to say. So glycine is an amino acid, and this functions as a huge important part to your building blocks for your proteins, once again. It is also found in the collagen of your skin, which is obviously going to give you that plump, nice, elastic look.
Is that why I've been looking so much better?
I could say probably so.
I could say probably so.
I could.
Okay.
I mean, I absolutely have noticed huge differences in you in the last few weeks.
Thank you.
All for the positive. Another thing that is actually really good with, because of its elasticity, is going to help improve ligaments, muscles, bone, and cartilage strength. It makes up about 35% of your collagen in your body.
That's a pretty big
That
percent.
it really is. And I thought that to be interesting because you don't hear a whole lot about glycine. And to know that the importance of it, why aren't we talking about it more?
Well, that's a good question. I guess it's a good thing you and I decided to join the minority, huh?
Absolutely. So glycine also helps regulate nervous impulses, which is a good reason why they've decided to put it into this patch. Because it also has that calming effect, and it actually affects your brainstem, and that's your primitive thinking. When you move up to your
Back to the
midbrain,
caveman days.
right? Absolutely. So we're working from your brainstem, and this is actually going to work in the control center and helping reduce some of the anxiety and the anxious feelings and having to keep going and going and
The
going.
roaming thoughts,
Right,
maybe?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Another cool thing is that it does help specifically with the spinal cord, retina, and with its supples, to keep it nice and supple and full of fluids and to be working properly.
Right.
So glycine also stimulates the production of serotonin, as we talked about already.
The happy
It
hormone.
is. That is our happy hormone,
Woo,
our good
happy.
feelings. And just to know that we're infusing this right through our skin without having to be digested and being able to put it directly to use, giving you that elevated mood improved, sleep enhanced quality that for cognitive and memory. And I mean, all of this is just going to work together once you've had that really good night's sleep.
Yeah, I think I've noticed a lot less brain fog. I mean, I'll still
Right.
forget and get stuck for a word every now and then.
Sure.
But the brain fog has definitely been less, and I don't know, less edgy, and I feel like I
Absolutely.
sleep better. Like you
And
went
with
to
this
sleep.
combination of all of this, it's so targeted to your brain health. Just in this sleep patch. It really targets brain health. Which if your brain's working and happy, then why wouldn't you be sleeping better?
Well, yeah. And you know what else I heard? Somebody brought this up, that when you sleep and you get the correct sleep, your body produces the serotonin it needs for energy.
Absolutely. Because the serotonin and melatonin are nothing more than neurotransmitters. They have more than one function.
They do give your body energy.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's where that feel good comes in. Because everything is balanced and you just feel good when you have enough of that serotonin being utilized. Just because you have it doesn't necessarily mean it's being utilized.
But if you don't have the serotonin, somebody told me that that's what your body uses for energy, and it'll start to go to other
It
things.
does. It does go to other things.
And
then
it wants you to eat carbs and stuff like
It
that.
does, absolutely, because it's trying to draw in that extra sugar for that quick energy. Your body tries to tell you what it needs, and that's what some of your cravings are about. And I found that very interesting when I had gotten sick. A couple years ago, I got sick really bad with a amoeba infection, and I was craving onions and could not figure out why onions. After a little research, onions actually has to do with dehydration. Well, obviously, I'm dehydrated. So my body wanted that onion because it was a way of rehydrating. And I found that very interesting. And that's just one example of how our body works. And sometimes you have to listen to it, but sometimes you have to question it.
Yeah, you have to go, where is this coming from? And can I, like the onion, you probably could have drank some water
And been just as bad. Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
and gotten lower sugar. Because
Not
onions,
such bad
most people
breath.
don't realize, well, that I wasn't going to mention that, but since you did. But also, yeah, onions are full of sugar, and I did not know that
Right.
until I started low carb.
And I just found that really interesting that I was craving this particular vegetable, being that here I had an amoeba infection. I was horribly sick. I was dehydrated. I wasn't eating. I think I didn't eat for 21 days. I was in bad shape.
Yeah.
And for me to have that craving for the onion was really fascinating to me. So I had to research and say
And that's
why.
not the usual
I
course
don't
of action
really
when you're
care for
not
onions
feeling.
anyway. Yeah, it's like something's not right here. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about the jujube seed extract itself that has been attached to the glycine. And this is a fruit. It is, I don't know why I didn't include where I found the fruit, but it's similar to a cherry. And it provides a lot of the same aspects and benefits that cherries provide.
Okay.
So, which includes treating sleeplessness, treating bone illnesses, eliminating anxiety and stress, fighting cancer effects from the treatments, promoting healthy digestion, maintaining adequate blood pressure, and it powers the immune system in helping control obesity.
So that makes sense with what we were just talking about. Okay.
Absolutely.
Maybe I should have just let you finish, but you're very kind.
No, I don't mind a bit.
See, this is where the non-medical trained brain, I ask those questions. So
So the
I'll let you say
suntheanine.
that one.
Suntheanine is another amino acid, And this is presented in the L-theanine form, which is obviously our natural organic form. This is helping prepare our mind for sleep by promoting the alpha brain waves. So when you're sleeping, you have different brain waves. You got omegas, deltas, and alphas, and they're all measured at a different level of sleep in your stages. And so this is going to promote those alpha brain waves, sending you into your heavy deep sleeps.
Okay.
Which is also associated with your relaxed mental state. So even if you want to use this product during the day, it could work. Some people may be too sleepy, or you could probably cut it in half and give you just that little bit of these type of minerals and vitamins in order to just prepare for the body to have a calming, relaxing day instead of using it for sleep. I believe that it could be used for other purposes.
Okay, well that sounds...
I would assume that it would depend on the person, their ability to utilize and effectively maintain. If they're too sleepy, then clearly take it off.
Right.
However, if you do find that this is working for you, to have that calming and less anxiety, less stress, giving you the clarity. Because when these things aren't blocking you, you're going to have the clarity and you're going to perform better in other areas.
Yeah, I think we've had a number of reports on the Slap That App page of how, this is, we've tried this for the CBD, and then
Right.
like yesterday I got an older lady. Normally, it was the CBD, but the relaxation properties still come into
Right.
account here. She's normally very edgy about going to
Right.
the dentist, and she was perfectly calm.
And I think that's amazing. It really is.
But the sleep patch with the relaxation really does give you that building
It does.
properties, and you do feel refreshed, because I've used the sleep patch.
And that's the other thing I was going to mention was based on the ingredients that I've been looking through. I don't see anything that's going to give you that dazed, hazed, drugged, or drunken feeling when you wake up. For example, if you take an antihistamine, like most doctors prescribe nowadays as a sleep aid. I know I was recently prescribed hydroxyzine. Hydroxyzine is an antihistamine, nothing more.
Yeah.
I wake up feeling groggy. I don't like that, because now I've got to wait another hour and a half to 2 hours to get my day started because I don't feel like it.
Yeah.
and that's not a good way to get started.
And you were prescribed that for
sleep issues.
For sleep issues.
I have a moment where I go to bed about 9 o'clock and wake up at like 2 or 3 in the morning. I know I'm gonna have to try this.
Yes, she hasn't tried it yet, so we're gonna work.
We're
on that.
definitely gonna have to. Just for the fact that I sleep about 4 or 5 hours in a night's period, and it's not even a complete full because I'm up and down twice at least. I think that keeps me running on my edge.
Right.
And not even aware of it.
Well, I'll tell you a story that I know of. One about myself. I've used it. I was using the CBD,
Right.
and it was fine. And then I decided to try this. And you're really right. Within about 15 minutes, you just slap it on. And then within 15 minutes, it starts to release.
Okay.
So you go out, but you don't. If you have to get up, like to use the bathroom, or if something else happens, you can go right back to sleep,
And
you don't have
right.
that groggy, craggy, I'm going to have to try and get comfortable again, all that. You just go.
Or the wobbly legs trying to get to the bathroom because you're on a medication.
Yeah, this is not drugs. But the one of the CEO's husbands is a firefighter, and he uses this. Well, when he's on duty, he obviously goes on calls in the middle of the night. So he can slap it on, go on a call. He can be asleep, go on a call,
right,
come back and go right back to sleep, whereas typically before that was very tough.
It is, especially when you've just had that anxiety and you've had that adrenaline rush of going on that call, being able to come back and fall right back to sleep. To me, that would be next to impossible. I mean, anybody who disturbs me in my night's sleep, I'm up. Whether I slept for 2 minutes, 5 hours, I'm up. It's over. My sleep night's done. Don't disturb this girl. She's not going to go back. And my kids know this now.
Yes.
You know, and it's important that I get at least that 4 to 5 hours for me to be functionable.
Yeah.
So,
well, maybe with this we could get you
that's
to
what I'm really
6.
considering after doing this particular page. I'm just like, this might be what I'm missing.
Maybe
know,
I should
that
send her with some
GABA is
samples.
right. That GABA seems like really an important factor that I don't think we think about.
And probably haven't. And, we're still doing, and thank goodness we have people like you to do this research, because now maybe it will start to get, not that I'm trying to say that, it'll spread, but
But it
sometimes you
could
just plant that
influence.
little seed and then somebody else grows it, and other
Absolutely.
people start talking about it, because I think we really were meant to sleep a little better than we do, and
Absolutely.
we've been kind of bad humans about running too hard and too high and too
Oh,
stressful.
yes.
And
I mean, even God took a rest.
he did. He
So,
did.
I
Yeah.
mean, I do believe that He intends for us to rest.
Yes.
I mean, He wouldn't have demanded Sabbath day if we weren't supposed to rest.
That's true. That's true. And I think a lot of us, and I know, I mean, I'll do things on the Sabbath. I mean, I don't just lay on the couch, but
Right.
I do try to take a mental
Minimal.
break.
Absolutely. But and it was interesting that you did mention that whole quality of sleep and the fact that it doesn't make you drowsy, because that was one of the informations that I got back is in my research was how it doesn't make you drowsy, and that it allows just the mental relaxation, but allows you to still be functionable.
So you don't have things like you do with certain drugs of
Right.
driving cars
I mean,
in your
even a
sleep and not
Tylenol-
being fully awake and
Right. I
things.
mean, you've got all these prescription medications, which I don't know all the names of, but then you've got the over-the-counter Tylenol PM, Advil PMs. People take these medications and think they can go out and drive. That's really not ideal. You are not in control when you're on these medications, and this is a totally different ballgame. You have control, and you can be a
You
functional
could
person
drive with
and
this.
still be relaxed. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's really cool. So the other thing that this is also has an effect of is have you heard of tryptophan?
I think, yeah.
Okay, tryptophan is a hormone that's actually found in turkey. So they say that you get tryptophan coma.
Yes. That's why you get sleepy after Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. So this has got the hydroxytryptophan inside and combined with your the prior blends. And with that said, it is a natural occurring amino acid, chemical precursor to mediate the biosynthesis of your neurotransmitter serotonin.
Woohoo!
So all of these things are in activating and encouraging your body to do what it's supposed to be doing anyway. Pretty neat.
Right. And that makes the body happy.
And it makes the body happy and sleep well.
Okay.
So now we're going to move in and start talking about the innovated immune.
Okay.
The reason I went ahead and put these two together was because a lot of them, the immune and sleep health, in my opinion, is really important to combine. Because while you're sleeping, your body's healing.
Right.
And if you're providing it with the proper balances of vitamin C's and whatnot, then you're going to actually be able to heal better.
That's true.
So in this immune patch, you're going to find your vitamin C, which we did talk about. It's in the complete. And it is a water-soluble vitamin. And another really important factor to understand is your body does not make vitamin C. You have to consume this.
Okay, so we do have to consume. Right.
Absolutely. And this is according to the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. Blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yes. So, as we talked about before, vitamin C is an important free radical, it is an important antioxidant in order to scavenge your free radicals. Another thing is that it does work as a cofactor with vitamin D. Your vitamin D3 is also in this immune patch.
Okay.
And again, this requires some work on your liver, the way this vitamin D is put in, but it is at the best form and the best molecular level. And the kidney does confirm it into the active hormone. And it is a fat soluble, so it uses what it needs, and then it's going to store the rest in your fat cells. And which means that in some events that there is a toxic level. However, I believe that the way that this innovative has designed it, that's not even possible to happen. I believe that everything is done at such a time release factor that your body is able to utilize it correctly before the next group comes in.
Okay, so as long as it's time released, your body has the chance to use
Absolutely.
it up, and so therefore it does not get stored.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So the one main function that's really important for your vitamin D that is for your immune response is it activates your T cells. T cells are really important. They are
T cells.
So those are your white blood cells.
White blood. Okay, that makes sense.
They actually they are produced out of your thyroid. They come out, and they're actually your memory cells. So these cells attack and target viruses and other environmental factors that don't belong and a memory of it. So say you've already been infected with a virus, these T cells are now stored with that memory. They know that virus, so they're going to be able to better attack it the second time around.
Okay, let me take my pea brain and try this again. Okay, so I've had a virus. My cells were remembering it, and this
is going to enhance their activity.
The vitamin D is going to enhance their activity to be able to fight this virus because it says, aha, I know what it did
I know
last
what
time,
you are, and I'm going to get you.
And I'm going, okay, very good.
So really cool factor. Well, another thing about the T cells is that is one of the cells that are affected during your HIV and AIDS viruses. So taking something of this nature could help in elevating those T cell counts that are so vitally important to these patients.
Okay, well, maybe it would be a factor, or, hopefully they will do some research on that.
Actually, I did read where they are working on some research. Some of these researches, we have to understand, it's got to be done over such a long period to get a full picture of what it's doing for the body and what it may not be doing for the body. So when we talk about research, you got to understand that it is coming from a long line of experiments.
A long line, really, because yes, it does take some time to.
It's not something, and that's why when I get into talking about the CBD, we have to also understand that there's minimal research done here. This is going to be something that we'll talk about and go into that detail at another time.
Right, but it's a hot topic, and it's one that everybody wants to know about.
Exactly, and that's why I want to make sure when I present the information, I do it correctly.
Oh, she is a perfectionist, I gotta tell you.
So we've talked about zinc already, and from the complete patch, and we've also talked about it from the sleep patch, and now we're going to talk about it in the immune patch. Okay, and they're also once again using the L-monomethonium, which is the organic form that we want in our bodies.
Right.
And this is essential. So this form is the bioavailable, but it is essential for gene expression, which is just basically how your hair color works, your eye color, and the skin color. That's all in developmental processes,
Okay.
So this tells me that this patch would be really beneficial to somebody who is pregnant or expecting to be pregnant, because building up this type of a ability for gene expression may reduce in some mutations, which could bring on some disabilities during the pregnancy and the embryo development.
Yeah.
Now, of course, a lot of that is genetic factors too, but when you have something enhancing your ability of gene expression and enhancing how that DNA strand works, the possibility of mutating is a lot less likely.
Okay, so even if it is genetic, what you're saying is this may reduce that.
Reduce.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's also really important for immune functions, protein synthesis, DNA synthesis, wound healing, growth and development. Zinc is just an all-in-all really important mineral for your body.
Okay, well, we need to remember to have our zinc then.
Absolutely. We'll ask everybody to get your dose of zinc today.
Well, if you took this patch, you certainly did.
Absolutely.
Let me see what the recommended.
So what I did find was, because zinc is
200% of the recommended RDA.
Right, absolutely. And again, this is one of those minerals that are actually going to be, whatever's not used is going to be excreted without a complication.
Right, so you're not going to overdose on it.
Absolutely. And as I discussed before, your body needs zinc, and in order to absorb it efficiently, it has to be chelated with something. In this case, like I said, they had chelated it with the monomethonium, which is that amino acid and essential for the building.
Okay.
And so I think that's really cool how they've done that. So now this was kind of my favorite part of the section. I have to say, this is a support complex, and it is packed full. I don't even know how to say it any differently. So we've got licorice, red algae. We've got aged garlic, alcerio fruit, ginger root, black cunam seed, turmeric root, olive leaf extract, and oregano. All of these I would have thought nothing more of than a few herbs, spices, and flavors.
That's what they sound like.
Absolutely.
Until you know what they do.
Now, so we hear, who is it? Dr. Stork on one of the doctor shows. I don't know if anybody watches that one, but he raves about turmeric. Turmeric is like
I have heard a lot about turmeric.
Well, it is hugely important for fighting autoimmune disease, relieves joint pains, improves cardiovascular health, and that's just to name a few of their benefits.
Right.
So, licorice root. It is a chemical that is contained in licorice and is thought to decrease swelling. Thought that to be very interesting because inflammation, swelling, retaining of water, all goes kind of hand in hand.
Yeah, anti-inflammatories, there's been a lot of research on, and I know that I feel better having had some of those anti-inflammatories.
Another thing is it does tend to thin mucus secretion. So, say somebody who has CF and
cystic fibrosis.
Thank you.
See, I know that one.
Cystic fibrosis. They have very thick mucus, and they're very unable to expel it and excrete it and move it. Their body just is missing a protein in order to make this function work properly. Well, adding some licorice may very well help with thinning of that mucus in order to get it out.
Okay.
And better breathe. Red algae. Found this one to be interesting because of red tide. You know, I'm hugely invested in my own personal research about red tide. It's been around for millions of years.
She did say the marine life thing. Yeah, she did say that.
Definitely. So we do know that this is actually creating huge problems in the Gulf of Mexico and up the coast. It's actually destroying our sea life. What a shame.
But does it actually cause problems in humans?
It does not.
It does not. What does it do?
So it is hugely beneficial. It actually has been researched and shown to prevent some cancer-causing agents. It stimulates the immune system, energizes the body, eliminates fungus in the body.
Oh, thank you.
It gets rid of bad odors. Go figure.
Thank you and amen.
And it cleans your intestines, detoxifies your blood.
Okay.
And I mean, those are really important factors. And I know that a lot of the Asian cultures actually eat the red algae. They eat it in several different dishes, and it's supposedly fantastic. I've not tried it.
I'm not sure that I would recommend that, but in this case, I
like the idea it came in a patch.
It came in the patch. Whether I would go dip in it or anything, I'm thinking probably not.
Not today. I'm going to pass. So the aged garlic, there's a lot of benefits for garlic. I know that we've heard a lot of it. You know, like wear your vampire necklace, garlic. Just kidding, guys. So,
but if
what
there
it
aren't
does,
any vampires in the area.
But it is funny because it will lower your blood pressure. It also provides brain protection. Garlic is can treat heavy metal toxicities.
Okay.
So heavy metal toxicities can occur for different number of reasons. One, some people who live up north, if they eat a lot of fish in their mercury-ridden waters, they're going to have mercury toxicities.
Okay.
Aged garlic can actually help use that as a free radical type scavenger in absorbing that metals that your body can't do anything with, and all it's doing is killing you. And then it winds up excreting it.
Okay.
It's really nice how that works.
Well, that is certainly an efficient system.
It is. And I mean, and all of this comes from nature, which is even more fascinating. God's green earth is good.
God gave us all this stuff.
He
and
did.
Told us that we would have what we needed. We do.
And he was 100% right. It's just having to get past our own nose to see the wide open doors that's been provided.
And sometimes I think someone told me back in the Middle Ages, many things were forbidden, not because they didn't work. Like today they forbid it if it doesn't work.
They would say it was witchery.
Back then it was because it worked too well, and people believed that you should pay for your sins by not feeling well.
But here God gave us these tools that we should use.
Yes.
So ginger root's amazing. Ginger tastes amazing. It can be a little bit tart when you in some cases.
Yeah.
But did you know that it's actually a decongestant?
I did not know that. No.
And it can shorten your colds.
Anti-inflammatory is what I knew. Yeah.
Yeah. So it fights inflammation, treats nausea.
Yeah, the nausea I knew about because I've taken that a lot for my stomach issues.
So get this, it actually improves your brain health and memory.
Wow.
Yeah.
How can you get any better than that out of something that I'm actually growing out in my garden? I've
love
got
it.
ginger in my garden. Yeah, it's pretty good, and I think that God, yeah, really did give us everything we need. We just and remembering how to use it, because once that was
Right.
taken out
Right.
way back when,
And
a
that
lot
was-
of people forgot how to use it, and that's how we came to be so reliant
on the
on
synthetics.
synthetics. Yes.
Absolutely. So black cumin seed. I found black cumin seed in scripture in Isaiah chapter 28, and Muhammad actually prophesizes that this is given to you to fight off any diseases except death. So that tells me that Muhammad knew something about black cumin seed that we didn't.
Probably.
God obviously filled him with the knowledge to know that this is actually has the ability to boost your immune system in many ways. It promotes a balance for your blood sugars, and also promotes good cholesterol levels. It can ward off harmful pathogens such as viruses, bacteria, and other anything that's
Right.
going to make you sick.
Yeah, kind of the things that we've been dealing with over
Absolutely.
the past few months. Yeah.
Right. So the other one that I wanted to talk about was back to the turmeric. So there was a study, and the patients were given turmeric powder. The capsules, mind you, capsules, okay? I don't have a whole lot positive to say about that. But after 12 weeks, the trials and the patients had shown significant improvements from their Alzheimer's symptoms.
From which one now?
From the turmeric.
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 And also, wow, okay, I did not know that.
So let's think about that for just a moment. Just based off of what we've talked about the knowledge of understanding how your gut is going to not absorb the food that you've ingested, the turmeric. So if these people are taking pills as a